we felt very comfortable right away meeting Ron. Just knew right away that he was a great guy and that we would be comfortable shooting with him. And I think the biggest thing is we knew that we could kind of be ourselves and let ourselves. We didn't have to try and be someone else. We could just kind of be ourselves and be natural and
be goofy,
and that helped us to have a really natural photo shoot, and we just felt comfortable that way.
And Ron encouraged us to, like when we were just doing our own thing, like, oh, that's great. So we didn't feel like we had to wait for directions, just be ourselves, and it turned out really well. And Ron really captured the essence of like how excited we are to get married.
They absolutely loved it. They had just gotten back from Europe, I think the day before, and so they hadn't even really been in the country. They got together, and I think it lasted, 2.5, 3 hours, and they came back and they were just all smiles and absolutely loved it because it kind of gave them a chance to get to know Ron, and they had a ball. They just had fun.
That's the key word, fun. They had fun. I mean, I think to that stage of life, people have had some kind of formal pictures taken, whether it was a family picture or a school picture. I don't know that anybody goes for a typical family picture or a school picture and they come home and say they had fun. But on this event, they went out and it was really just kind of all about them, and they just felt really special and really treated, I think. Mm-hmm. And the whole experience was just a really good time. And of course, then when you see the pictures afterwards, that joy of the day is certainly captured.
And not only that, but then it set the groundwork for the wedding, because they knew that they had so much fun for their engagement picture that just kind of teed it up, knowing that was just going to be a great addition to their day. So Ron, I'm not sure where in the process, but he said, well, why don't we just do a family shot, because you're going to have all these wedding pictures, and it'd be nice to have a picture of the family outside of all the wedding clothes. And I said, sure. This was probably 2 weeks before the wedding. I thought, oh, plenty of time. So we scheduled the time the Thursday before the wedding. And that day I thought, what am I thinking? This is the craziest thing in the world, to think that I have time to stop and take family pictures. And so we met at a park, and it was at 6 o'clock, and about 20 minutes into it I told Ron the story of how I thought this was the worst idea in the world. And as we took the pictures again, that whole fun factor came back, and it was such a great evening for us to just take pause in all the craziness of the wedding. And if we want, you can. And just to be with the kids and be with each other and just focus on just enjoying our time as family, knowing that it was being captured by the camera. And it was great.
Yeah, I would say that, while on the front end you think of all the things we have going, how do we possibly stop and do this? But in retrospect, it was really kind of the calm before the storm. It was just that opportunity for us just to kind of throw everything else aside, enjoy some family time together, have fun as a group, and go out and, it gave us a chance to go out and have dinner afterwards. And it was really a special night because of that.
Yeah.
So the planning session just made the entire event and both sessions feel very personalized. I really like benches, and I like sitting on them. And so I shared that with Ron during our planning session, and then there was one at the church, or in back of the church, and so we got a really great picture sitting on the bench with everyone watching us.
Yeah. It just made us feel comfortable knowing that we're going to get the shots that we wanted, because we, obviously after the wedding you can't go back and if we miss something, so just knowing that we had everything that we wanted to get shot out there, and Ron knew about it, and he was very thorough in asking us what we wanted to make sure that our needs were met.
And it was great that during the planning session Ron asked specific pictures that we wanted, because otherwise it's like, oh wait, we've got to make sure that we ask them to do this one, and to be thinking about that on the wedding day.
Not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you knew, Ron knew, and that helped a lot.
you can see a lot of the emotions, the happiness, some of the tears from the ceremony, and just all the great memories. You can just kind of relive those moments again, so you just kind of get taken back to that time and place.
Ron captured a lot of things that we didn't necessarily see. You know, like we're kind of caught up in what we're doing, and we didn't see, like, my mom's tearing up on the sides.
It was fun for me to see, like, Kelly getting ready, because obviously I didn't see that, so I could see all the behind the scenes of Kelly getting ready and just the church getting prepared and things like that. So that was really, really cool to see the parts that I just didn't know were going on.
And I didn't see you guys
Yeah.
decorating the car,
Yeah.
so that was cool to see that next.
That was good. One for me was driving off in Kelly's grandpa's car. My best man had put the cans on it and the Just Married banner. That was really fun. Yeah. Well, we had the outdoor session was great. We had Kelly's grandpa's car, so we drove around in that with the GoPro and got some really cool shots.
So it's great because Ron had pictures of us from next to our car when we were driving, and then we had the GoPro getting pictures of us in the car, and it was very cool.
Yeah.
I guess mine was the speeches and just listening to everyone say really nice things.
Yeah.
And dancing, of course.
And the party after was a lot of fun. Everyone was dancing. But just, yeah, everyone had a great time and everyone was having fun and laughing and smiling. Just to see everyone else of our guests have a good time at our wedding, I thought that was really, really cool.
And some of the pictures are just, so over the top, almost like they belong in a, contest. I mean, just having the insight and the ability to take what's thrown at you and say, what can we do with this? I mean, a prime example is this picture of, it was threatening rain most of the day, and thankfully we stayed dry going into the church. We stayed dry coming out of the church. Everybody stayed dry getting into the reception, and at that point it didn't matter. But sure enough, later in the night, the rain started coming, and instead of going, oh gee, it's raining, Ron instinctively said, this isn't a bad thing, this is an opportunity, we can do something really neat. And he grabbed the bride and groom and went outside with an umbrella and just took a spectacular shot.
It's kind of a break from the whole reception and seeing everybody, and Ron ran in saying it's raining, so we had to go out right away. And then we did, and it was quick, and then it turned out beautiful.
And what I really liked was the next day with having pictures, the Facebook pictures. That it's things that we got within 24 hours of the wedding, and a picture of Kelly and Kyle walking out of the church, and lavender being thrown at them, and that was awesome. Really cute one of the flower girl with all the girls. And then also a picture, I think, of the wedding party, just in a really cute pose. So it was those kind of things that people right away saw those pictures, and it just set the tone then for all the discussions after the wedding. Like, oh my gosh, did you see that picture? And then the stories start. So that was really a nice touch.
You mean nobody talked about the food?
No. Or the venue, or the church.
Oh, they did. But they did talk about the moments that were captured.
Absolutely.
So that tells you what's important. One of the things that made me know that working with Ron right away was absolutely the right choice was because of his enthusiasm about the event. I mean, naturally we're excited, it's our daughter's wedding, that's to be expected, but it's comforting when the people working around you are sharing in that excitement and anticipating some of the shots we're going to take and how it's going to be. So I would just say, as the father of the bride, while I wasn't responsible for undertaking the whole wedding, I was certainly involved in it, and looking at the dollars that were going to get spent between flowers and between a venue and a church and photography and entertainment for the night. These are all buckets of money, and unless you're working with an unlimited budget and an open checkbook, some choices have to be made on which things are more important than others. Like, there's nothing about where it was that makes an event special. There's nothing about what you ate that makes the event special. What makes the event special is people and family. And having someone that's there to capture those moments that will be timeless, and you'll have images forever, that's a really critical piece of the puzzle. Yeah, and I would just say that, by hiring a professional that really knows the business and has done this many times, is the characteristic you're getting when you invest in a quality photographer is their ability to anticipate versus react to. Because setting up and having those expectant moments of parents looking at each other as they're watching the wedding, a rookie or someone that's just there to take some pictures because that's what they're supposed to do, I don't know that they really have the insight to capture those types of moments. So, of course, we got all the pictures you'd expect to get, but the extra and the reason why it's so important to go with Ron and his people is because you're going to get a lot of the things that you're not even thinking about, but that's all he's thinking about because that's what he does. When you meet with Ron, be ready to make a decision. I mean, I think it's so easy to think that, like in so many things in life, we want to interview 3 people or we want to go look at several cars before we buy one. The thing about when you're working with professionals in this level of expertise is there's only one Ron. So if Ron is available on the date that you need him, there isn't any reason to slow dance around, because by the time you think about it and want to try to interview somebody else, and then when you call them, nothing's going to be worse than have them say, oh gee, I'm sorry, now that date's already booked.